Hi everyone, welcome back to the inTutor. In this video, we are going to be working on another concept of C programming known as recursion that mostly deals with functions. So what's recursion? Recursion is just a situation whereby a function happens to call itself within its own body of that function. In mathematics, for example, where 5 factorial is equal to 5 times 4 factorial, you see that the solution to the factorial itself contains another expression of factorial, knowing that the 4 factorial will still be 4 times 3 factorial. This is somehow where the concept of recursion is being applied. So if you're trying to actually bring this out into a C program, it's going to help us quite much to actually understand the concept of recursion in C programming. So we begin the code. Well, let's actually now bring out a function for that calculates the factorial of a number. In that case, we know that the factorial of a number will always return an integer. So we say int, as we give an integer as its return type. The name we could give to this function would be get factorial, get fact, or get factor. And then the parameter it takes should be a single integer. Now, knowing that 4 factorial will be 4 times 3 factorial. If we know that 4 factorial is equal to 4 times 3 factorial, then we can immediately conclude that n factorial or n factorial will be equals to n times n minus 1 factorial. And in this case, our n could still be z, that could still work with z, knowing that z factorial will still be z times z minus 1 factorial. So if we are to express that actually, we just have to return the value of z times get factor of z minus 1. But then there's an issue when it happens to cause 0. When does it stop? Given if we allow it this way, this function might not actually stop. Let's try actually run it and see. We could say maybe we want to print f. So let's run this and see what happens. So as you can see, this function is going to end without printing out what we actually asked for of it. Why? Because this does not handle in the situation when z minus 1 becomes 0. If it happens that z is equals to 0, we would return 1. So when x will now reach 0, it returns 1 and the function stops there. So until for a value z we are going to give here, it's going to be returning the value of z times the factorial of z minus 1 until a situation where the factorial of the z minus 1 will reach 0. Is going to print that 1 and it's going to actually stop there. So I think this one is now going to work, and it's supposed to print us the factorial of 5, which is 120. Excuse me, actually, comparison has to do with two equal to signs. I actually assigned it instead of comparing it. Oh, that's it now. We say okay, 5 factorial equals to 120. So what happens? What happens is that at the beginning, we give the value, we call the function with x being 5. So it first of all says, okay, it's going to return 5 times 4 factorial, and 4 factorial now will call back the function of factorial, which will be 4 times 3 factorial. We will now have 5 times 4 times 3 factorial. 3 factorial will call on to factorial again, and that's going to be 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 factorial. And that goes again until we have 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 times 0 factorial, which is now 1, and it will give us the return value of all the summation actually. So well, that's the concept of that's recursion in C programming. Thanks for watching. See you in our next video.